Andy Gaunt, you smooth criminal.
Good evening, James McGrath. How are you, sir?
Well, mate, I've had a coffee this morning, so I'm doing much better than I was last week. Wait, what on earth have you got on your head? Is that the famous cap from last week?
The famous cap. It's hilarious because actually, for you listening at home or maybe in your car, when James and I have these conversations, we're on FaceTime. So the FaceTime camera is not doing me any favors, I don't think. It looks like this hat is like the tallest thing in the world. But see, if I stand back, it's normal. That's a normal hat.
It's definitely a little bit Elmer Fudd.
Wait, does Elmer Fudd actually wear a hat? I thought he was bald.
Wabbit twax, that's all I'll say to you.
Okay, if I'm honest, I did not expect that we would start this episode of Curb and Canyon talking about Looney Tunes.
Oh, well, mate, it's just another day in the world of James and Andy.
Welcome to Curb and Canyon. You gotta say that the improvisation's not bad. It's not bad. Look at this. 2 weeks in a row, my man.
2 weeks in a row. I love it. I'm sat here with my coffee. We're on time as well. I mean, it's not like it's late, and you've got that looks like a very, very rich 12-year-old apple juice. What have you got there?
18-year-old apple juice. Yeah, that's it's whiskey time. But I am glad that this week at least you messaged me a little while ago, 15 minutes or so ago, and said you were getting up, which I thought was great, and having coffee. Because, thinking back to this time a week ago, the moaning and groaning that was coming from your end of this call was not exactly inspirational, if I'm honest.
You know what? I was so excited about getting this week's episode started that, I sent you a cheeky preview from the green room.
I thought it was the brown room. I want to threaten you that I'm going to share that on social media. It's not an image anymore, but I have too much respect for our audience to share it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, another week.
Yeah, and we're going to do something a little different because this week, for the first time ever, you have actually chosen the video of the week from our good friend Cars with Luke.
No.
Come on. Don't be shy, James.
Look, all right, for those who listen to our...
Oh, we're going to go into this.
Epic.
Are you going to get into this?
Our epic podcast. Dude, I am getting into this because, yeah.
All right, so just so everyone knows, just before we start, to give you context, James is about to, let's say, air a little bit of dirty laundry, and this is just going to be a little, what would we call it, a group therapy session between the two of us?
No,
so let it out, go.
All right, look, so...
Go on, unload.
For those who listen to our podcast, on a regular basis, you may be aware that I don't really pull my weight when it comes to choosing the video of the week. More often than not, I don't even watch the video of the week until about 5 minutes before the episode rolls. This week I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna look at some videos. I'm gonna send Andy what I think.
Come on, you stumbled onto it.
And I found, doesn't matter how I found it, I found this video and made a suggestion and said, hey, Andy, look, I think this is great for video of the week. And I think your response was, yeah, hey, look, here's video of the week. another video from Henry Catchpole. And I was like, wait, we've
done Luke before too,
Did you even, have we? Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, I did know that. Of course I knew that.
Exactly. If you'd watched the videos, you would know that we've done a Cars with Luke video.
But here's the funny thing. I did see my arse, for at least 2 or 3 seconds when you sent back, basically completely dismissed my suggestion for video of the week. But the funny thing was, I I must have watched at least the first 10 seconds of that video before making the recommendation, because I certainly didn't watch it all. I saw the.
Well, here's the thing. You know, I think at the end of the day, the listeners are going to be excited because they're going to get 2 for the price of 1 this week.
They are.
Let's do 2 videos of the week.
Let's do 2 videos of the week, and I'll be honest. Yeah. I'll be honest. I watched the first 10 seconds of my suggestion and thought, wow, if that's what the opening 10 seconds like, the rest of this video is definitely going to be great. So let's just fire this off to Andy. There you go.
It's all downhill after that first 10 seconds. Look, I'm sorry, James. I'm going to apologise to you publicly on this forum that I didn't give your suggestion its due consideration and respect. To be fair, though, you got to earn that respect, and would we say you have to date? Not sure. Anyway, do you know what? At the end of the day, we've got 2 cracking videos to talk about, so that's going to be great. But first up, I want to know, did you hear back from your little, you were emailing some dealer in the middle of the night when you had insomnia, asking about a 991.2 maybe? What happened? Anything?
Yeah. Got back to me, told me it was still available, and I humbly apologized that I had no interest in buying it.
Did you just respond with, sorry, who is this?
My initial reaction was just to hit the old junk button. But no, I thought, at some point, maybe 2 or 3 nights later this week when I'm still awake at 3 a.m, I might actually reply, so I won't junk this person. But no, I just apologized. I was like, no, you know what? No, I'm not actually in the market for a car. And he probably looked at the timestamp and thought, well, he sent me this email at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's now 11 o'clock at night. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he's either drunk or awake when he shouldn't be, either way. Tell me this. Do you ever find yourself kind of vicariously experiencing the purchase of a new car when someone you know is purchasing a car? Because I've been going through this lately. I've been going through it lately.
But absolutely. But do you know what's difficult about and maybe you experience the same thing, but because I'm in the Porsche community, and I'm making content and people email me and people send me Instagram stories, and it happens every couple of days. So every couple of days, somebody has bought a Porsche, sometimes because of watching one of my videos or your videos or Nick Murray's videos or whatever. And it doesn't really matter how they've done it, but yeah, every couple of days somebody tells me about a Porsche they've bought, and they send me all the photos, and some of them send me the video of them walking into the dealership, and they're like on selfie cam, and they're like, "Oh, it's happening!" So yeah, every couple of days I feel like I've purchased a car, and when there isn't a new one set outside, I'm thinking, look, it's my turn. I need to go and buy a car.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, so I've had a few friends, a few of my driving buddies have been in the acquisition or purchasing phase over the last few weeks. A sudden rush of them. I think I mentioned last week my friend Gerard, who bought a aqua blue 991.1 Carrera S. Yeah. I saw that car today for the first time.
Oh yeah,
and I was just as happy as if it was mine. I was like, this thing looks so good. It is such a beautiful color, a really lovely color. I expected it to be more like a sapphire blue, to really pop. And as a daily driver, I think a color like that, you might have times when you're in the mood for it and you might have times where you're not. But this aqua blue has just enough pop, but can then just, slot into the commuter traffic without looking too loud or ridiculous. My other great driving buddy, Rocco, I hope he doesn't mind me blowing up his spot. Well, it's not like he's big on social media. His Cayman 4-litre GTS just arrived. Carmine red, the one that's been floating around on off the east coast of Australia. it finally arrived on the weekend. He sent me a video. It was the best video I've ever seen. It started just on a shot of his existing black 987, I think, Cayman S, and then the camera just pans across to the front of the dealership, and there's this carmine red GTS 4-litre, and it just looked amazing. And I just called him. I was like, dude, oh my God. Look, I'm so excited.
Why isn't that video of the week? That sounds great.
Yeah, it was all of 3 seconds. I'm not sure he's shared it with the rest of the world. And then I've got another buddy who just sold a car.
Is his name Choco? Wait, Blocko? Flocko? No.
You're such an idiot. It must be tough for Ruthie, huh? I get this, once a week at the most.
Yeah, go on. Let's hear about your other mate, Blocko.
Erwin. You can't laugh at his name on our podcast.
Dude, I can. I'm like 11,000 miles away.
Even if I'd said his name was Steve or Mike, I still think he would have laughed in that moment. Anyway, my good pal Erwin is also on the hunt for something new. And so he's sending me cars. We're talking about it. It's just so fun. I love it. I love living vicariously through other people's purchases. It's great. It's great.
Even just, going along to my friend Chris's house this week to see his 991 Turbo that I've seen 100 times. Actually, you know what? I don't think the cheeky bastard's ever let me behind the wheel. I don't think I've ever gotten to drive that
if
car.
You had.
I know. Yeah, cheeky monkey. But no, every time I go around and see that car and I'm watching him install a part on it, or talking about a job that he's doing, I get that rush of excitement like it's my own car. Isn't it cool?
It's unreal. Are you obsessing about any particular model at the moment that you're thinking, if I could make that happen, that's next for me? Where's your head at?
Yeah, like, of course, all right, so there's the dream cars, there's the 991 Touring, there's
of course
any kind of GT3, which no, but yeah, I've got to say I've been more and more looking into a 991.2 Carrera, the S, the GTS. I've looked at a 991.1 Turbo.
Ooh,
just
interesting.
being around Chris's more and more and listening to his Soul Performance exhaust on the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I keep, if I'm going to keep the 996, and I've got now, a classic 911, quote unquote. It's barely a classic, but it's kind of, I guess it is a classic now. It's 21 years old, right? So it's technically a classic. I want a newer car. Just you swallow that whiskey and you keep a straight face.
I don't understand what you're accusing me of.
Yeah, all right, Mr. 964 little green dream car, Elmer Fudd motherfucker.
Okay, I don't want to do it.
That's what I'm looking at. How about you?
Well, hang on. I'll get to me in a second. I don't want to do it because I hate when we talk about Nine Works, but I have to for just a second. Yeah.
Who?
I've been listening to those cats this week because they're back, and gee, they're so professional.
And they're so likable. That's just
no, they're not. They're not though. That's the thing. They're very dry and boring. But you know what? Congrats to all of those guys. They've literally just gone bam, 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 3 cars.
Yeah, right.
Right. Max got his Boxster. Andy got a 911 SC, and Lee got the 40th anniversary 911. What a great mix of cars. So for me, and this changes all the time, right? Because I'm the same as you. I'm always looking at 991.2 GT3 Tourings, but they're sort of the dream off in the distance, never a possibility. GTS has always been on the radar for me. I just think
Has it
there's
really?
such a sweet spot. Oh yeah. But the last 2 weeks, I've been obsessed with the 991.2 Carrera T. And I've just been consuming content. And that car, for me, to be honest, always just flew under the radar. I've never paid that much attention. And it might have only been a week ago, my friend PJ, I think it was, shared a listing on Car Sales, which is like our Bring a Trailer or Auto Trader or whatever, for a Miami Blue 991.2 Carrera T, manual, just perfect spec, low kilometers. It's like 4,500 kilometers. Just beautiful. And I couldn't stop looking at this car. And then I start finding out about all of these tunes you can do. There's this Litchfield tune that just pops the horsepower up 100. I started watching all these videos and I was thinking, that could be the next, that could be the car.
Yeah.
That could be the car.
I went down that rabbit hole about 6 months ago. I had a couple of people suggest the T to me, and I spent days looking at all of the T's available online. And I don't know if it's the same over there in Australia, but here in the US, you go searching for Carreras, and 90% of them are black or grey or white.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find a 997 or a 991 used car with any bit of color. Most of the T's on the market are in the Miami Blue. They're in the yellow. They're in the in the Guards Red. I think people thought if I'm gonna spec a T, let's pick a fun color,
an interesting color. Yeah, I agree. It's. I just think there's a lot to like. What happens in the Australian market is that anything that's not a Carrera or a Carrera S is horrifically priced. So we pay a huge premium for a GTS, huge, to the point where some GTSs are kind of GT3 money, and even the Carrera T is similar. But I made quite the interesting discovery, and I think I shared this with you. So I came across, whilst searching for YouTube content on the Carrera T, I came across a YouTube channel, Tommy L Garage. And I've not seen Tommy's channel before. He's done some little collabs with your mate Nick Murray, and he has this beautiful, I think it's speed yellow Carrera T. And I could just hear your words echoing in my mind, because he does a video where he installs the rear emblem on the deck lid of his Carrera T, and in the video, he has the template that apparently every Porsche dealer in Australia literally doesn't know exists. And this dude just has it, and he's sticking his Porsche emblem on the back of his Carrera T. And all I can hear in the back of my head is, we're not robots, mate.
To this day, that's one of the exchanges on our podcast that sticks out in my mind. I nearly lost it at that time you told me about that story. I wonder if that guy's ever listened to this podcast and thought, cheeky.
I hope he has. He knows. He knows
We're
who he
not
is.
robots, mate.
Ah, dear. Should we do some news? Because we are, we're the number one source for detailed analysis of the
We are,
latest
yeah.
happenings in
Screw
the
those
world of
nine works
Porsche.
guys. What do they know? Good Lord.
Nothing.
All right, so what's going on?
718 Spyder RS. We knew this was coming. It's the GT4 RS with no roof, basically. It looks, well, actually.
That's what they should call it.
That. No, because it's the GT4 RS with a ridiculous roof. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos with people trying to put it on their own. You can't do it.
Well, every Spyder I've ever seen in the real world, in the wild, it hasn't had the roof on. I didn't even know it came with a roof.
I don't think you drive this car with a roof. And even Andy Preuninger came out on social media and I think was getting a bit jacked with everybody making comments about the roof because he said something along the lines of, stop talking about the roof. The car's amazing. And it's a pretty impressive thing, right? Like 500 PS. I don't know what that is in horsepower. I've got the Australian site, 368 kilowatts. I guess that's like, it's close to 500 horsepower, right?
Yeah, it's like 490-ish horsepower.
Yeah. Okay. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, which is 62, 3.4 seconds. Top speed, 308 kilometers an hour. That is
all right,
quick.
Let me put all of that into English. So that's 493 horsepower.
Metric.
Zero, what are you, French? 0 to 60, 3.2 seconds. Top
French
track speed.
Motherfucker.
Top track speed, 191 miles an hour. Note, with summer tires.
It's funny because I brought up the website just before we started talking, and I thought, oh no, the data's all aimed at an Australian audience, so it's kilowatts and it's kilometers, and I thought,
yeah, it's also data as well, to be honest with you. But hey, look, so I've got a couple of questions for you. One, isn't this basically just the Speedster, but it's a Cayman and not a 911? And second, what on earth is a Spyder? Spelt not like Spider-Man?
I don't know. Don't ask me questions I don't know the answer to. But that's a moniker that's run through Porsche's history, but other brands as well, I think. I mean, no, it's not a Speedster. It's I guess a similar concept, although in some respects it's even more hardcore, right? Because it's it's based on an RS versus just the Speedster's a GT3.
Yeah.
The question that I have heard raised is, historically, you think back to the 73 RS, etc., these were homologation specials made so that Porsche could take these cars racing. This RS is not. So therefore, should it qualify as an RS if it's not actually going to be a race car? I don't know. I don't think we're in danger of Porsche kind of, doing anything silly like doing the Macan RS or Cayman RS.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Porsche talk about this car, and one of its selling features is that it has the RS chassis developed for tracks. It comes with the Weissach. Is that how you pronounce it? The Weissach package. Which again is, primarily GT vehicles, track focused. You even have a picture of a track on your trim.
Yeah, interesting though, isn't it? Because the RS chassis, to quote Porsche's website, developed for circuits tailored to winding mountain passes. So does that mean they've done some work to the damping characteristics of this car in order to just soften it back a little, make it a little less track focused and a little more road biased, I wonder?
Yeah, possibly.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, every video I've ever watched on the Spyder, the Speedster, to go back to your previous point, everyone who drives it talks about how it just takes that GT3 experience and turns the audio portion of that up to 11 because it surrounds you, it envelops you. And we know that, those intakes on the GT4 RS are spectacular in their sound. And in fact, some journalists have suggested it's too loud. You'd have to think that as a driving experience, this must be amazing. It can't be anything other than incredible. And who cares whether the roof's a ball ache to put on? You're not going to drive it with the roof on anyway.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, if I had that car, I wouldn't drive it with the roof on. It just looks odd. Like I say, I've never seen a Spyder with a roof on. And everybody that turns up, we've got a guy Henry in our group who's got a beautiful, I think it might even be aqua blue, talking about Choco's car.
It's Gerard's car.
I've got Gerard's car. I'm sorry.
I do not know
Gerard,
a
of course. Yeah, you do. I've got to say though, it's. I'm looking at the website, and so the interior, it looks like somebody threw up Alcantara everywhere, because not only is the steering wheel and the seat middles Alcantara, the door inserts, the entire dashboard is Alcantara. What?
What's the problem? Not enough carbon fiber?
No, there's never enough carbon fiber, Andy. Come on, I mean, they could have done way more with the carbon fiber. But if the purpose of Alcantara is to help you stick to the seats, grip the wheel on the track, what the hell are you doing with an Alcantara dashboard? Is that for your passenger that's terrified and sitting there gripping the airbag?
Well, I think, most GT3s, even most GTSs these days, come with buttloads of Alcantara everywhere. But yes, the Alcantara dashboard, I know that appeared in the GT4 RS also. I like it. I love the fact that it's non-reflective and it gives this just soft premium look. And in fact, something I always notice when I look at the interior of a 964 compared with a 993 is often the dashboard in a 993 is more of a matte finish versus the really shiny dashboards in the 964. Mm-hmm. And there's something premium about that matte finish to me. And I think this just takes it to the next level, right? It's about soft touch surfaces, about giving a sense of a premium place to be, a motorsport inspired place. Bring it on, I say. I mean, yeah, the steering wheel's going to end up all gummy and all that sort of stuff if you drive it too much. But let's be honest, most of these cars are going to have 1,000 miles put on them every 6 years.
Right. Yeah. As they get driven to Cars and Coffee and back once every couple of weeks.
Yeah. The only ones that'll get actually belted around will be the press cars.
Mm-hmm.
I got to think, though, again, we're talking about a car that you and I will we'll be lucky enough to see one, much less ever drive one. But I've got to think this would be just an absolute hoot to drive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Has to be.
Everybody talks about how great, and you talk about how great the Cayman is to drive, the GT4. This takes that to the 11, the 12. Yeah. Just absolutely awesome. But with the future of Boxster Cayman being electric, this is it. This is Porsche's last hurrah for the Spyder, do you think? Yeah.
Well, that's the reports we're getting. And I mean, it seems, I'm going to be honest, it seems a real significant leap to make to be saying, okay, the next one that's coming, guys, is going to be all electric. Now, we don't know that for certain. That's not been announced, I don't think, by Porsche. Perhaps it has. Someone might correct me. But it certainly seems to be the prevailing opinion of everyone that post this model, this 718 model, we will be going all electric for the Boxster and the Cayman.
Yeah.
And look, in pure performance terms, we know that is bound to deliver something exceptional, right? Of course it will. We know it'll have insane acceleration. We know that lowly positioned weight will mean, incredible weight distribution and cornering performance. But when you consider that when the 718 was launched and the GTS model came out as a 4-cylinder with turbochargers, and everybody said, yes, it performs beautifully, but it just doesn't sound that good. And the 981 GTS sounded so amazing. And Porsche basically responded to that and released a 4-litre version almost in response to it. What's the reaction going to be when someone's favourite mid-engine platform suddenly becomes EV only with a Jetsons, kind of a sound.
Yeah, I know. We're in that sort of, weird juxtaposition of we're getting some of the best naturally aspirated engines and combustion engine powered vehicles from Porsche ever produced, but we're looking at a future of EVs taking over our favorite platforms. It's not like when the Taycan came along, I thought, great, it's not replacing anything, it's an addition.
That's right. Yeah.
Where now, yeah.
And also when you think about Porsche is one of the few, I might get hate for this, but it is one of the few performance car brands that deliberately tries to build soul into their products. That, when the four-cylinder GTS was released and people bemoaned its lack of soundtrack. Okay, let's go back to a flat six. When they released the 911R, they said let's make this a manual car. It's not going to be as quick as a PDK, but we think our customers will like that. Guess what? They did. So the GT3 now available in a manual. There's not many other companies doing things like manual gearboxes and the like. So in one way, it seems as though they are finding more and more ways to embrace the purist, the enthusiast, the true driver. And yet in other ways, this platform that is probably, I guess, objectively speaking, the best platform they have in terms of its dynamics, they're about to rob it of its soul, so to speak.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Keep saying soul performance products. Just keep saying it.
I did actually watch some Soul Performance exhaust installs on Carrera T's over the last week.
As you were looking at your bank accounts thinking, if I can just sneak a bit of this money from here to there, to there, to there,
but
the wife will never know.
And then you start doing the calculations as well, because you go, okay, so all it is a Carrera T, plus some lowering springs, plus a Litchfield tune, plus a Soul Performance exhaust, plus I'd probably want to upgrade to some Carrera S brakes, and suddenly you've spent an extra 20 grand on this car.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should say that, because I was thinking back to the conversation I had with Ruthie when I was talking about getting rid of my truck and getting the Cayenne. And I was like, I'm going to get rid of this brand new truck that's worth 50, 60 grand. And I'm just going to go and get myself, a 20 grand or less high mileage Cayenne. And, and I'm going to own it outright. And it's going to be easy. It's going to be absolutely cool. And she's like, beautiful. It sounds good, but how much are you going to spend on mods? I was like, oh, someone's been paying attention.
Yeah, someone has been paying attention for sure.
I actually priced up all of the carbon fiber I wanted for the Cayenne, and it came to almost the purchase price of the vehicle itself.
So speaking of the Cayenne, how's it going? Because I saw a video this week, a little bit of a review. It looks as though, and some lovely drone footage, by the way. It looks as though you're enjoying it. I did like the honesty of the drive portion of it, where you're like, yeah.
You know what? Why sugarcoat it? It's just
who are you going to
underpowered SUV that comes with the Porsche logo on it. But somebody once referred to it as a fancy Touareg, and I just can't think of it now in any other way. I haven't actually really done anything to it so far.
Tail lights? What are we going to see there?
Well,
is the video coming.
I'm setting a couple of videos are coming, so I'm setting myself up for a couple of hilarious fail videos, actually. So usually,
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So usually I like doing my DIY videos. So for people listening to Curb and Canyon, you get a special preview of what's coming down the line. So first off, I wanted to fix the sports chrono clock because the little white hand had fallen off. And I thought, while I do that, at the same time, I'm going to change the clock, the color of the bezel of the clock face. Why not? So bought myself one online. I thought I'm going to go for yellow this time. took it out, fixed the, took the pins off, tried to fit it, realized I don't actually have the sports chrono. I have the clock. And so I'm looking at the clock and it's got 1 through 12 on the dial. And then I'm looking at the sports chrono plate I'm about to replace it with, and it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Oh, no.
And then not only that, the sports chrono has got a little digital display in the middle of the clock.
Yeah.
The clock does not.
Does not.
So the yellow dial I could technically put on front of my clock, but there would be a hole in the middle.
It's got a little recess.
I know. So I went to all the trouble to take out the clock, and I eventually just fixed the little white hand. And so now it's gone back, and I haven't changed the color of the clock face because I haven't found a replacement. And then the tail lights. Oh my God, Andy, have you ever tried to do tinting yourself? Have you ever tried to do it at that job?
No.
Genius. The people who work in that industry that do that kind of job, I watched loads of how-to videos. It looked really straightforward. And I knew from the get-go that this kind of job is not my kind of thing. It's too fiddly. It's more art than it is practical and scientific. There's a lot of art that goes into that kind of job.
Sounds right up your alley.
Dude, so I follow the instructions to a T, and I just cannot get it to sit right. And as I'm using the heat gun and the squeegee to try and get the water out, the fucking plastic is stretching and ripping. And so I've got about 20 minutes of footage of me dicking around, trying to get the tint on the rear taillights. And in the end, you just hear me swear my head off, and I rip it off, and I storm out of the garage.
Oh, that's so good.
So I'm going to be doing a how not to tint your taillight DIY video.
So basically, you couldn't put on a sticker.
No, basically.
It's basically just a big sticker, right? So any 7-year-old kid could do it, but not you.
Oh, God. I tell you, man, that is such a frustrating job. And then also, because you got the pressure of the camera on you at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So having failed at doing that mod yourself, are you going to commit to doing that regardless? Because I do think the tail lights on that model Cayenne are... I'm a big fan of ratios, right? Like ratio of wheel size to body panels, etc. They are a big tail light and a very red tail light. There's a kind of a dog.
They're too big. They're too bright.
So,
yeah. What I really like about the latest Macans and Cayennes is they
strip and
it's narrow, it's sleek, it's not too much. The quality of the LED is much better. I think they should be smoked. Actually, my next door neighbor, who's been a big BMW guy for the 4 or 5 years I've lived here, he just recently replaced his M3 with a Taycan and his M5, I guess it was, the SUV, with a Cayenne X5, with a Cayenne Sport. So the Cayenne with the crumpled back end.
Coupe.
The coupe. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Cayenne coupe. And it's black, and he's smoked out the taillights, and he's smoked out everything, and it's awesome. It kind of looks a little bit like Darth Vader with 4 wheels, but it's 100%. Awesome.
So, are there any sort of other mods on the horizon? Because you got to weigh it up, right? You're not going to spend
with the Cayenne,
with the car on carbon fiber, right?
Nah. Honestly, with the Cayenne, I'm just if I'm serious about getting another 911. The 4, 5, or 10 grand I'd pour into a 163,000 mile Cayenne. Man. It really is
still a pretty average driving experience, and
it is.
Just have it nice. As long as it's nice, it's nice.
It's so funny, when I do the 911 driving videos, I always try and put a balanced perspective out, knowing that I'm super excited about driving the 911. When I did the Cayenne driving video the other day, I was thinking the same thing. And it was just obvious that I was not getting overwhelmed by how good the driving experience was, which is why my review was, yeah, it's not bad.
Do you know what, though? I think that's important. I've had some comments on my channel that that I'm sort of overwhelmingly positive about these cars that I drive, and I know I am, and there's a few reasons for it. Partly, I figure no one's looking to me for a journalistic review of these cars, right? I can't.
Right.
I can't test them with the nuanced view that Chris Harris can or Henry Catchpole can, and nor do I have credibility in that space to do so. So I always come at it from the perspective of, I'm just an enthusiast. How cool is it that I get to drive this car? And also, often they're cars that belong to my friends, so I don't really want to say bad things about them. I try and be a little bit honest. I'll say that I think, the car could benefit from a louder exhaust or those types of things, but I'm overwhelmingly positive. But I think, yeah, there's a point at which if you're driving a 2015 Cayenne, it's going to be nice.
Yeah.
And that's... Yeah. Sort of it, and it's a daily driver, of course. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Now we talked about my cars. How about Little Green? Well, you had shocks, sort of like they were getting serviced, weren't they? You had one that leaked.
Yeah, it's quite the fiasco. So I called. So what happens is I took the car to my friends at 9 Auto. They removed the shocks. And the shocks then need to be sent from Melbourne to Sydney, 1,000 kilometres away, 600 something miles away, and to go to the distributor of KW in Australia so that they can service them. So I called the distributor yesterday and I said, hey, I'm just calling to check up on my KW V3s, make sure they arrived, see if there was any news yet. And the guy said to me, I'm not sure if we've got any here yet. I'll have to have a look and I'll call you back. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That's fine. In the meantime, my pal James, who also has a 964 running on KWs, had messaged me on Instagram because he'd seen my post where I said I'm ready to have my car back. He messaged me and he's like, yo, what's wrong with your car? And I said, I had a problem with the KW V3s. And he said, I had a problem with my KWs as well. And so we ended up having a DM conversation about it. And he informed me what his problem had been. It had been a reasonably catastrophic one. Anyway, this is quite a long story. I got a call from 9 Auto around lunchtime to tell me, it was a confession of sorts, to say that actually the shocks were off the car and in a box, but hadn't been sent to Sydney.
Oh, no.
So, look, I was like, it's okay. I mean,
it happens.
The car's always
That's an honest
there.
mistake.
Exactly that. It's fine. I'm not throwing them under the bus in saying this. So anyway, I said that's fine. He said, listen, I've booked the courier. They're getting collected at any minute now. It's going to be all fine. About 5 hours later, I get a call from the place in Sydney, and the guy says to me, "Hey Andy, your shocks are here. I've got your shocks." And I said, "Oh wow, that was quick." He said, "Yeah,
5 hours."
Yeah, like from Melbourne to Sydney. And I thought, I guess they flew up there. And he said, yeah, so I was just having a look at them, and I'm afraid the news is really bad. One of the shocks, the shock body has come away from the mount. It's not just going to be a service, it's significant damage. And I was like, that's not good. And I'm like, you sure they're my shocks? I said, because I just spoke to 9 Auto 5 hours ago and they said they hadn't sent them yet. And he said, well, no, they're off a 964 from Melbourne. And I was like, okay. And then it all just dawned on me. I said, how long have you had them? He said, well, I don't know, apparently they've been here a few weeks. And I said, I reckon they're my buddy James's shocks that are left over from when he had them replaced. So sure enough, it turned out that my shocks hadn't actually arrived there yet. So I assume they probably arrived there today. And let's see. The other thing I had to do, because the shock had failed, one of my tires had just been completely scrubbed, and as always, finding Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss is always difficult. But a place I found when I needed to get some tires for my GT4 last year, this Motorsport Wheel and Tires in Dandenong, Victoria. Shout out to them, because they seem to be able to find Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss when nobody else can. So I'm getting new tires this week.
Nice.
Yeah. Who knows when the shocks will be back. And in the meantime, I'd forgotten about this, but I have this sound coming from the dash in the 964, which I could only characterize as sounding like a chirping cricket.
Is it Kylie? Is it your CD player?
It's Johnny Diesel.
The locomotion?
Well, do you know what? Well, I thought about you today, actually, because we should say RIP to the amazing Tina Turner, who just passed away. And as I was reflecting on her career today, I remembered she actually recorded a version of her hit song Simply the Best with Australian singer. She did a duet with an Australian singer named Jimmy Barnes. And Johnny Diesel does this guitar solo in the middle of that song where the saxophone solo usually would be. So anyway, what was I saying? But no, it's like this chirping cricket sound. And if you search on Google, you can search for 964 dash chirping crickets, and it's a common thing. It's an issue
thing
with yeah, it's a thing. You got to remove the HVAC system, and there's some blower fan that it costs a fortune to replace the blower fan, but it turns out the same part number. It's the same fan that gets used in a bunch of Jaguars, Chryslers, Jeeps, Hondas.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so you got to do a whole lot of transplanting and stuff. So I'm yet to determine whether I'll fix that or whether I'll have my friends at 9 Auto do it. But at least it will be solved. So I think I'm still a few weeks away from having the car back on the road, is the bottom line, which is
yeah.
I'm really, really wanting to drive it.
Bluey's not back yet. I went to the body shop.
From the paint shop, right?
Yeah, it's in the paint shop, getting the screw holes with the license plate fixed. I went to pick it up the other day, and there it was, sitting there looking absolutely beautiful. And the guy's like, yeah, we repainted your front bumper. Look at it. It looks great. And I was like, it does look great, but the screw holes are still there. And they were like, yeah. So they repainted the bumper, but they didn't take out the screw holes. And they were like,
it's just such a typical experience in this industry. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you did that, and you did an amazing job of it. But remember when we talked about doing this other thing?
Yeah. The whole reason, pretty much, for doing this. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All right. Final segment, Andy. No, we got 2 more segments to go. Let's go. We've got our Porsche Buddy Global Community Outreach High Five. Yeah. What are we calling it? Good Lord.
And see, this is why, right? I may not give your video of the week suggestion due consideration. However, what I don't do is tear shreds off it whilst on the pod.
Yeah, but you're a classy guy. I'm not.
You know, I always feel, yeah, exactly. Praise in public, criticize in private. That's how I do things.
Look, this isn't Star Trek, mate. I'm not going to ask you to come to the ready room.
It's not Star Trek. It's just basic decency. Son of a bitch. Anyway, whatever. I just called it.
All right, come on then.
I just called it Porsche Mates. There you go.
Of course you did. Yeah.
Well, come up with something better, D-bag.
First up, Choco.
So, what have you got for me? Who do you want to celebrate this week? You've spent some time thinking about this, I assume.
Yeah. So, Porsche mate, who's up first? Choco, Blocko, or Rocco?
You got nothing, right? You've not.
I've got nothing.
Really put the work in this week. All right. Well, do you know what I have? I'm looking forward for we're gonna have a debrief after this one. So I'm just gonna offer you some feedback. Do that afterwards.
Here are some notes.
Yeah. So, do you recall when we had Darren Pfister on the pod? And
of course.
He was wearing this super cool Deutsche Spritz Tour t-shirt, and I commented on it, and he said, well, this is an event that I run, and it has this guy who does the t-shirt. So I reached out to him, and I said, yo, Darren, who does your artwork? Because I need new t-shirts for the next Alpine Range Rally. So he put me in touch with Jared from Group 6 Designs, and he did the design work for our Alpine Range Rally t-shirts for the number 8 rally, which we just did. And they are so good. I think the best ones we've had, hands down. Oh man, the exact brief I had, the vision I had of a car kind of coming towards the viewer, if you like, with mountains behind. He just nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And we were able to do something this year which we've never been able to do, which is do the t-shirts in 2 colors. So the car that's actually featured it's a 964 RS. It's actually, believe it or not, it's based on a photo of my car. But so there is a maritime blue version, and there's a ruby stone red version, which is basically a bright blue version and a pink version. And they're just the best t-shirts. They're so good. The artwork's so good. So yes. And Jared was ace to deal with. Just easy. Nothing was a problem. Revisions weren't a problem.
Awesome.
It was just all class. So yeah, unreal.
Oh, very good. And so we'll put Jared's details in the description to the
yeah. Indeed we will.
Now, video of the week. Are we doing your video? Are we doing my video? Let's do your video, because I know how much you like Henry Catchpole. Come on, let's talk about it.
Have you watched it?
Have our bollocks.
I think let's talk about Cars with Luke, because we've both watched that.
No, screw you. Tail of the Dragon? I want to talk about a video about Tail of the Dragon. I'm going to be there in like 6 weeks' time, Andy. 6 weeks' time.
Well, that's why I thought it'd be a great video of the week. All right, so these Haggerty videos, because as you may recall, Henry Catchpole was the host of most of the videos for Carfection, which has gone a different way now, or failed now. I think it's failed actually. Like so many of these sort of YouTube channels that actually focus on high quality production, there's just not the budgets there to support it. But anyway, Haggerty is doing sponsored content, and Catchpole is hosting a lot of this. And this latest video that has just dropped features him driving a Guards Red GT4 RS at the Tail of the Dragon. I mean, man, I watched this, and I mean, look, I've got a good sense of Tail of the Dragon from watching your videos, because you get to see the surrounding, you get to see the countryside and the like go past quite slowly, and so you really get a sense of...
The drone's slow.
Yes, that's what I meant. No, of course. But
of course
it's so beautifully shot. But man, the roads look unbelievable. And not just the Tail of the Dragon. You know, most of the video he's talking about these other roads in that region that just look like...
Oh, absolutely. And people who have been to Tail of the Dragon more than a couple of times will tell you that that's not the best road. There's the Charahala Skyway, there's the Smoky Dragon Trail, there's I think it's called the back arse tail of the dragon. There's another part of the dragon you can drive. But yeah, that whole region, dozens and dozens of these incredible roads, which are arguably just as exciting as driving the tail.
It's incredible. Do you find, because I think about the roads I've driven they very rarely show up in any content other than, well, my own, to be honest. And occasionally you might see we have these Targa High Country events, and sometimes there's video content from those, and I'll recognise certain roads that we drive. But there's never anything like this video that drops where I just think, I know that road, I know that corner, I know where that is.
Yeah.
Did it feel really familiar to you?
I think so. I
haven't really watched it, if I'm honest.
Well, when I watched the first 10 seconds of the video, no, I've got to say the first the first 10 seconds of the video where you don't see the car, you just see the GoPro or whatever on the front of the road. And the titles, Mobile One and Haggerty or whatever.
Yeah.
And as it's going round those two or three really tight turns, it just immediately takes me back to Tale of the Dragon. But, later on in the video, you've got drone shots of, I'm pretty sure it's the Cherrahala Skyway.
It's like on the side of that mountain?
It's on the side at one point, but then it almost goes over the top ridge
of I saw that.
One of the mountains. And what's so great about the Cherrahala Skyway is that there are no turns for like 40 miles apart from the twists in the road. There are no junctions.
I see.
Right. There are no people coming on and off. Where the tail is like 11 miles. And during that 11 miles, you've actually got a couple of areas where, you might have food trucks or, people kind of pulled over on the left and the right.
I see.
On the Cherrahala Skyway, no one's pulling over, apart from the scenic spots. And it's just driving. You're just in there for like a good hour, gripping the wheel, just screaming round corners. It's absolutely phenomenal. So just you seeing shots like that in the video, and like that. I've been there. Yeah, I remember that. It's awesome.
Well, and you mentioned corners. That's one of the things I think they did a really good job of capturing with a lot of kind of low footage where you see the camber. And you see the way this road has been made. It looks like a BMX track, and in fact, Catchpole actually references. It reminds him of riding on a mountain bike trail, a downhill trail, where you've got berms and you rail these turns, and you're watching the way this GT4 RS takes those corners, and you can just see the grip must just be incredible.
Now there is one corner, I think I've talked about this before, where the camber's actually counterintuitive, and there are a lot of accidents on that one particular corner.
So where
you kind of on most of the corners you rely on that camber, and you can actually push yourself into it, and you take advantage of the camber. But if you try and do the same on this one corner, you're flipping over, and you're either going off the side of the mountain or you're going into the mountain, depending on how you unfortunately twist the wheel.
Does that live in a sequence of corners that are beautifully cambered, and then suddenly there's this one just to catch you out?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like within a dozen corners. So you are in the zone, you are in the groove, and then you got to be like, oh yeah, no, here it is. Here it is. And I've been there, 4 or 5 times now. And I would say at least twice, if not 3 times, we've seen a Chrysler upside down. We've seen a Cayman in the wall. It's a high accident area. Yeah. People who aren't familiar with it just throw themselves around it and realize, shit.
It looks like it's quite a scene, and there's a scene in the video where he takes off to drive the tail specifically, and there's all these JDM cars. It kind of looks like Fast and the Furious. And I started following someone recently on Instagram. I can't remember the name, but who has a BMW M3, and he's constantly posting Instagram reels of him and some other car, I think maybe a Skyline GTR perhaps, driving the tail. And dude, they are driving it like it's a racetrack. I mean, I know my friends and I, when we do our rallies, we certainly push, but these guys are just on the absolute limit. it seems like it's this road where people just push and push and push.
They do.
Except you.
No. So, I mean, honestly, that's the one road where I just like let it go and I don't hold back.
Yeah.
And it's only now because I've driven it so many times. I mean, 4 or 5 trips, but when you're there, you drive it at least 2 or 3 times because you have to drive it to get to Bryson City or Robbinsdale.
Right?
You have to drive it.
Oh, right.
Well, just it's a pass. I mean, it's quite literally the only way across the mountain for like 100 miles in either direction. So you have to drive it to get to the other roads. So you're constantly doing it in some respects. So now I've done it so many times, like I don't hold back when I do it. And actually there are a lot of people that go there and do the same, but they find themselves stuck behind the Winnebago from Ontario who would like driving 20 miles an hour going, oh, we're on the tail of the dragon. And you're just like, get out of the way.
You got the Griswolds and the family truckster.
Exactly. Exactly.
The other thing that struck me, having just gotten back from our rally and, finding parts of that rally where we drove in regions that we'd not driven before, and it being autumn or fall here at the moment, it was just stunningly beautiful. And I love the way the scenery looks there. We're so used to looking at video content from the US that's West Coast based. And so you've either got the kind of, Pacific
California
North.
Canyons.
Yeah, you got the California Canyons, the sort of dusty, deserty kind of stuff, or you're up, in the sort of Northern California or Washington where it's all, redwoods and all that sort of stuff. This looks very different. These beautiful bright greens. It just looks like a stunning place.
Mm-hmm. And very rocky. The mountains and the of course the Rocky Mountains are on the west, but they're the landscape is just, it's different to the rest of the country, and I can't wait to go back, man. 6 weeks.
Did this get you pumped? Did it get you pumped?
Yeah, it does, but in 2 weeks I'm going to the Black Hills to drive past.
Is that this one that features in the song in Calamity Jane?
Is that another Kylie song?
The Black Hills of Dakota?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so we're South Dakota.
She sings it with Wild Bill Hickok.
Oh my God. We need to talk about your taste in music, I think. But we're going to Devil's Tower. We're going to Custer. We're seeing, what's that mountain with all the faces on that I can never remember the name of? Mount Rushmore. Little Bighorn.
I can imagine your mug on Mount Rushmore. It's that carved out of chiseled carved jawline of yours.
That's right. Yeah, no, I think one day they'll carve it out of marshmallow.
You and me both, mate.
Well, Andy, I think this brings us to the end of another pod.
No. Well, hey, do you know what? 2 weeks in a row, that's something.
It's magic. The magic's back. Let's keep doing this. I like it.
I feel like it is. I feel like there was a good energy today. Look, we need to talk about workload a little bit, and just even distribution of tasks. But let that conversation up.
Yeah, that's right. Coming from the man who doesn't edit the content. I'm sorry you need to spend 10-15 minutes coming up with the notes while I spend 3 days editing the podcast.
Edit the content. What? Apple C, Apple V. Like, honestly. No, it is true. James does the editing. I do it occasionally, and you can tell because mine are really good. But James does it most of the time.
That's right.
Hey, my man, I've enjoyed this. As always.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. We'll see you in another pod soon.
See you guys soon.